One of the things that I've always felt, but I've never been able to put a finger on until recently, is the fact that I've never felt like I belonged here. I've never felt like I belonged in this place, on this planet, in this realm. And this is why I refer to this place as a prison planet. This is why I refer to this place as a soul trap. It's a trap for the soul. Because, just looking back on my life, I've never felt I've been sort of I've always felt like I've been like a reject since birth. That human society, human civilization, like even just like the structure of this planet has sort of rejected, and I do think it rejects certain people. That certain people are exiled or ostracized by society, right? And I think that uh, I have such fatigue about this prison planet because it's like I don't feel like this place is capable of being fixed, so to speak. I don't think that like why would I? It's almost like why would I stick out my neck for a society that has rejected me since birth? Why would I stick out my neck for a realm in a place that is it's inherently dysfunctional? The way things are structured here on this in this planet in this realm, the way things are orchestrated, the way things are structured, it's inherently dysfunctional. There's no use fixing a dysfunctional civilization. There's no use fixing dysfunctional people, the dysfunctional normies, the dysfunctional psychos that control the normies through propaganda, right? I've always felt like this sort of rejection since birth. That like there was never a moment in my life where I felt like even like whenever it comes to like the people on this planet, there was never a moment where I felt like, oh, okay, like these are my people, right? Like these are my people. Oh my gosh, I feel like I fit right in, right? And what's interesting is I feel like it's much more accurate. Just me personally, that I do feel like I'm sort of like an alien inside of a human body, and I don't mean this in a literal sense because I know that that's like a new agey sort of like the whole star seeds or whatever, right? It's not necessarily that. It's just that I don't feel like the fundamental true identity is about the human body because obviously like whenever you die, there's like a soul, there's an essence that leaves the body. So obviously this wrapping up in the human identity politics, right? Like they push identity politics so that you identify with you know just being human. Oh, you're just a little human, right? Like you identify with all the labels, all the the job positions, the achievements, the like the titles associated with this realm, right? And so I do think that this place is inherent. It's like oil and water. I do think that we don't belong here, or at least like there is like a certain group of people that I think you know um, if you're watching this, I think that you might feel the same way. If you don't feel this way, if you feel like, oh man, I'm right at home on Earth, and I think everything's peachy, then it's okay. It's okay if you feel that way, right? But me personally, I never felt like this was my home. I don't feel like this is my home planet. I don't feel like this is my home realm. And whenever I die, whenever I leave the body, I'm not coming back here. I'm not. I don't see a point in coming back here and reincarnating here, in putting up with all the dysfunctional designs and all the scripts and this reality is so fake. It's so fake. Like a history is fake, right? Everything is scripted, right? Like everything that they put in, like the TVs, the TV shows, like TV, like all the news, or like the movies, right? Like the celebrities, the people that get accomplishment and money, they get rewarded with resources. All of it's fake. It's all scripted. History's scripted. People are scripted, right? Like even like the path of our lives to a certain extent. I think we do have free will, and we can alter the outcome of our lives to a certain extent, right? But even our lives from our childhood, like there's a certain script that is run through the school system. There's a certain script that is run, like go to school, go to college, get a job, start a family, reproduce, and die, right? And so I think that like, this realm is not something that I'm concerned with necessarily, fixing, quote unquote. I think that, it's more of a destructive process. I've always, I've always fantasized about the world's destruction, from a young age, because I see all the suffering on this planet. I see all the evil on this planet. I see the evil people that run, or the evil entities ultimately, because it's ultimately non-human entities that run things. You know, I've always fantasized about like the world blowing up or something. That like if nukes were detonated everywhere, then it's almost like finally everyone would get like a breath of fresh air. This is something that people describe in near death experiences. They describe this like I remember this one guy who describes it as like being released from a hot stuffy closet. That whenever he left the body, he felt like there was like this like that he was released from this claustrophobia, right? So even the human body is like a claustrophobic thing to be in. And just existing in this realm, like people describe how it's like it's so dense and so slow that everything in the physical realm manifests slower. Everything here is dense. The human body is dense. It's like we're cramped into dense material, and we're sort of suffocating almost, right? It's almost like our souls are suffocating by just being here, right? So I you know I guess I just wanted to sort of talk about that sort of homesickness for prime reality I've mentioned. I've mentioned this before, how a lot of us, I think, feel a homesickness for prime reality. I think that we do have. I do think that some of us have the sense that like we don't belong here, that this isn't our home, that that this isn't where we belong, that we don't that we there's a reason why we don't fit in here. There's a reason why we don't play the games of society. There's a reason why the way things are structured in this realm, even down to the physical level, even down to having to like eat and having to shit and everything else, like all of this stuff, all of the defects of the human body, all the defects of human society. None of it seems natural, and none of it seems like at least for me, that this is my home. I feel like there's a sense of familiarity or whatever. Like I've never felt that. I've always felt like I was like a stranger in a strange land, so to speak. So I definitely think that and that's why I believe that this is a prison planet, because um, I know that some people don't like. Not everyone agrees with the prison planet theory. Not everyone agrees with it. People think that you know and I kind of understand this, where it's like people talk about how oh, it's not a simulation, like we're in a real planet Earth, but that it's just been invaded by evil forces, right? I think that there is this sort of conflict between people when it comes to oh, is it a simulation, or is it that we live on a real planet that has been invaded by evil cosmic forces, right? And I'm starting to move towards the second thing, which is that that we live on like a real planet Earth, but that it's been sort of corralled or cut off from prime reality. You look at like the firmament as being like a frequency fence that they used to block people from escaping. You look at it like I've always used this analogy where it's like a finger being cut off from blood circulation, and so the finger starts dying off. This is how like frostbite works on the human body, where like if circulation is cut off from a part of the human body, or if the human body becomes cold, where like the blood freezes, or like and blood isn't flowing, it starts to like die. It starts to get like necrosis, I believe it's called. um but I definitely think that that second theory, that we live in a realm that is cut off from prime reality, and that there's certain technologies, like the Saturn-Moon matrix, right? Like the moon being an artificial body, that's in orbit around the planet, or like there's ancient cultures that talk about how you know a time before the moon existed, like a time before the moon was in the sky, right? So like the moon is an artificial body. You can look into like how the moon sounds hollow. Like whenever like NASA does missions to the moon, they hit the moon, and it reverberates with this sort of ringing sound that they're able to detect, right? And so like the moon is a hollowed out artificial body. And I do think that you even look at people like John Lear. He talks about how there's a soul harvester or a soul recycler on the moon, right? And you even look at if you ask any police officers or any nurses, they'll tell you how people people get like crime goes up, and there's more activity in the emergency room on a full moon. Right? It's like police officers and nurses can tell when it's a full moon just by the amount of activity, right? And then you have the word luna, which is it's Spanish for moon, and then you have lunatic, right? So there's a lot of symbolism with the moon, right? But I definitely think that this realm is not I've definitely feel like my entire life that I don't belong here. There was never a sense of belongingness. There was never a sense of like, oh, I'm home. This is my home planet. This is like these are my like whenever I go out into society, like oh these are me. These are my people. I've never found a group of people that were like my people. Like oh man, I vibe with them 100%, and they make me feel like I belong. They make me feel like I'm at home. Like I've never felt like that. And so I think that that feeling of homesickness definitely comes from like, being rejected at birth. That that this is not our true home. That this realm is not our true home. And I think that it could be like it could be a full artificial simulation, or it could be a place that has been infected by evil. But either way, I don't feel like that this is at least for me on a personal level, this is not my home. I'm never coming back here. After I die, I'm leaving. I'm out. Right? I'm not going to stick out my neck for a realm that has rejected me since birth, that has been designed to go against me. And I don't think that I think this obligation to try to save everyone, I don't think that you need to have that obligation. That like, oh, you need to save everyone even if they hate you. Like that's not true. You're not obligated to fix this realm. I think that this realm needs to be unplugged. It needs to be destroyed. It's not a process of fixing. It's not a process of like you go under the hood of a car and you fix what's wrong with the engine. I think that it is a destructive process. I think that this realm needs to be unplugged. It needs to be destroyed. Like you know um the computers need to be shut down. Like you need to like pour water on the circuit boards. I think that that's what needs to happen. I think that it is a destructive process. I don't think that this realm can be fixed. This realm needs to have, it's almost like the fires in a forest. Like occasionally, forests will undergo cleansings where they'll catch on fire, and like whenever the pine trees will catch on fire, like the pine cones will fall down and they'll expand because of the heat, and that's how new pine trees grow. That's how pine cones work. Um, I might have gotten some technical details wrong there, but like I know that that's like a thing with like the forest fires, the cleansing fire. I do think that this realm needs to go through a cleansing fire. I don't think that this is a realm to be fixed. I think it's a thing, it's a system, it's a it's a matrix that needs to be destroyed. And this definitely isn't my home. This is not something. This is not a place that I've ever felt like I belonged in. It is like oil and water, right? This this realm is, I don't want to say it's like beyond save, but like we're not trying to save the realm. We're trying to save the people in it, the real people in it, the schizos, the pneumatic souls. Like that's who I'm concerned about. I'm not concerned about this realm. I'm not concerned about like the stuff that happens in this reality, like to the system, to the normies, to the Hylics, to the the puppet masters and the puppets. Right. I'm concerned about the people. I think this realm needs to be destroyed. It's not you know and I don't think that it can be saved. I think it needs to be destroyed, and I think that we need to let bygones be bygones. It's like, oh, okay, we tried, but there's people that are beyond saving. There's people that are plugged in, like they'll never see the truth if you put it in front of them, right? But yeah, I definitely think that that sense of homesickness, that sense of like I don't belong here, that sense of being rejected since birth, that's something that I definitely is a reason why I think this is a prison planet. It's the reason why I think this is a soul trap, and the reason why I relate to that sort of model of reality, why it makes sense for me, is because I've never felt like I belonged in this place, right? But yeah, that's the video.